You're listening to The High Upside Show, a podcast that allows people like you and me to invest our money in a more entertaining way. My name is Keenan Rivals. I'm a photographer by the day, but I make most of my money by flipping cards. In this show, I'll be sitting down with you and sharing my best practices. You'll learn my process, the lessons I've learned, and more importantly, who you should be buying. What's up, guys, and welcome back to The High Upside Show. It's your host, Keenan Rivals. Getting a late start here with today's podcast because I've been spending the entire morning and afternoon updating the Patreon, updating my portfolio. If you guys haven't checked out the Patreon, please do so. I'll let the link down in the description. Essentially, you're going to get to see my plays, what I buy, when I'm selling, and it's just a really good insight to kind of see how I look at the market. A lot of you expressed to me that, the premium membership was maybe too high for you or you just couldn't afford it at this time, given the current situation. So I wanted to make something that everybody can kind of tap into, they can learn from, and, they can follow. With that being said, if you join up for the Patreon, it is cheaper than a cup of coffee per week. And look, Starbucks isn't even open anyway, so take that money, allocate it towards some investing, invest in yourself, follow me, and let's learn and earn money together. Now that we got the bills out of the way, I'm excited to bring you guys today's podcast. I took it to Instagram and to Twitter to kind of get some, ideas from you guys. What do you want to hear about? And you guys came through. You left some really good ideas. A few of you commented. A few of you jumped in my DMs. And I think just from having that little short conversation with you guys, I have the next couple podcasts planned out. So super excited about that. And I'm also just really pumped to talk to you guys about, what we're going to be discussing in today's episode. So over the last few weeks, I kind of did the buy, sell, hold with you guys. We talked about the, future and current state of the market. And now what we're going to talk about in today's episode is what I'm buying. It's been a minute since I kind of just, gave you guys some insight to my portfolio. So I felt like this was a really good, just timing for this podcast, given the Patreon just kind of came out, and that's going to give you some insight. And the market's just moving pretty quickly. So I'm sure you guys are looking for some advice because everything's changing week after week after week, and it's really hard to keep up. And some of you are wondering, like, hey, should I still be buying? Is there any sales that I should be looking out for? And that's what I'm here to provide for you today. I'm not someone who invests in like super obvious stuff. There's time to buy some Luka and some Lebron and some of the blue chips, but I kind of like to look for some of the overrated things. I feel like some of the, obvious stuff is pretty obvious. So if you don't own those cards, the Lukas, the Lebrons, the Giannis's, then you probably want to allocate some of your portfolio to that. But what we're going to be talking about today is just some of the less popular plays. So let's jump into it, guys. So the first card should come to you by no surprise. I've been posting this heavy on my newsletter for like over a month now. I've kind of posted it on Instagram a few times. I've talked about it in some stories. And that is the 2009-2010 Panini Stephen Curry rookie. You can get the Panini, you can get the Prestige. You can go with the one where he's laying the ball up or the one where he's dribbling the ball or the one where he's in his practice jersey. It doesn't really matter. I tend to avoid the college uniforms, but if he's in an NBA uniform, if there's an NBA logo, then it's a go. I just think this card is extremely undervalued. At the time, I would say it's about $120 right now, $125 for BGS 9.5. And if you're looking at the PSA 10, that kind of fluctuates between $200 and $250. I think it's a steal. I mean, I just look at other Panini cards and, we really don't have any real Panini, stars right now outside of Steph Curry and Giannis. And I guess you can include Luka, he's following up with that. So a lot of these cards don't have any real value. And when I was looking at the resurgence of LeBron and Jordan and, Kobe, I'm just like, man, these players have, even Stephen Curry, these players have their Topps Chrome cards and they're doing really well, but their Topps cards are killing it. LeBron's Bowman card's killing it. And I'm like, what card does that resonate with, the Panini era? We got Prizm, we got Optic, we got Select, we got all these Chrome cards, but what about that paper card? What does that look like? So I was doing some research and I was just trying to find, like, what's Luka's paper card? Is it Donruss? Is it Panini? Is it his NBA hoops? What are we going to attract to as a market? He has to have a paper card. So does Jason Tatum, so does Giannis. And across doing that research, I noticed that Giannis's Panini card was going for like $400 or $500 PSA 10. And I'm like, oh man, that's super high. It was going higher than the hoops. His prestige was pretty high. He has another one that looks just like him. And I'm like, man, these cards are pretty high. I'm going to see if there's some other values like that. And then I started looking at Steph Curry and I'm like, man, his card was like $60, but Giannis's is $400. So yeah, I made a newsletter. I made a blog post about it. It was entitled, "If Giannis is king, then Steph Curry is." And essentially the blog post is about how Steph Curry is just as good as Giannis. We're looking for the next big thing after LeBron, and we see Giannis, he's dominant, he's strong, he's big, but Steph Curry has a couple years left in him as well, and he's on a really great team. For the next 4 or 5 years, he could be LeBron. He could take over LeBron's position as that dominant player. He's not going to be dunking on people, catching alley-oops, but he's going to be shooting from 40 feet and crossing people over. So yeah, I thought that was a super, super good buy, and I let everybody know about it. Since then, again, it has jumped up, almost 100%. They're kind of trending at that 120 price point like we talked about. But if you compare it to Giannis, I still think it's a value. Steph Curry cards are dumb expensive. His Topps Chrome is like $6,000. His Topps is like $2,000. He barely has any Gem Mint cards across those, really popular brands, Topps Chrome, and Bowman. I think he has less than 500 Gem Mint cards. So I feel like that Panini's the next card. And no way his, cheapest high-end card is $800, and then the next card is just $100. Like, that gap has to be filled in, and I think that's what that Panini rookie is going to go at. So I really think buying those at $120 is a good value. How much are they going to go up? I'm not really at liberty to say that, but I think Giannis is a good comparison. The price point of Giannis right now with his Panini, his Prestige, his Pinnacle rookie kind of being at that $400, $500 mark, that seems about right where Steph Curry should be. So that's kind of like my rough estimate on where I think a good entry price may be versus a good selling price. Obviously, that's not financial advice. That's just something that I'm doing within my own portfolio. So check that card out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you think it's a good buy? Are you like, no, that card sucks? I'm interested to see what you guys think. Next up is kind of it's going to be something that some of you might kind of shake your head at, but I think it's a really good play. I've been looking at Prizm Rookies and just kind of seeing some of the values, and we're really buying up these new guys. And by new guys, I don't just mean Kobe White. Yes, I'm picking on Kobe White 3 weeks in a row, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Michael Porter Jr., those are all quote-unquote new guys. And they're selling for some pretty hefty prices. Some more justified than others. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a great player. He's doing his thing. Kobe White's doing his thing. But there's a ton of players that are like equally as good, if not better, if not more respected on their teams that sell for nothing. And I get it. Sometimes just because you're doing good in the NBA doesn't mean you're going to have any kind of hobby or, marketing appeal. But I feel like this guy on this list does. And it's Kristaps Porzingis. I am a big Kristaps fan. When I first got back into sports cards, that was one of the first cards that I bought was his Prizm Silver. I'm just like, he's 7'3", he can dunk, he's getting bigger, he's blocking shots, he's shooting threes. And once the offseason hit, his cards like doubled in price, and I made some really good money off him, so I sold. And I'm glad I did, because those first couple months in the season, I was like, oh, Kristaps kind of lost it. He's just kind of passing the ball to Luka and letting Luka do his thing. And yeah, February came. In February, I think Luka got injured and Porzingis started balling out. I don't know, what happened to him. He just started shooting threes from like 35 feet. He's like the 7'3" Trae Young. He's just launching people. I think it was the game against Milwaukee where I really was like, okay, he's kind of good. He's really going toe-to-toe to Giannis. He's not scared of Giannis. They're in that same, age group. Like, this could be a duel. Like, this Giannis Porzingis thing could go on for a while. Some East-West Coast vibes. And yeah, I just really enjoy his play. On top of that, he started to put up crazy numbers. For the month of February, I think he averaged like 25 points per game, 10 rebounds, like 2 blocks or something like that. I could be making this up, but it was something around there. And those are just really good numbers. Factor in that with Luka, you got a 21-year-old potential, or future MVP. That just seems like a really good 1-2 punch. And getting Kristaps' card at, $120 for his Prizm PSA 10, it just made sense to me. Now, when I start picking them up, or should I say when we start picking them up, they're around like $85. So much like the rest of the market, they definitely moved up in terms of price. I still think they're a pretty good buy. I mean, we see Jason Tatum selling around like $350, and we see Trae Young selling around $220. I don't think Porzingis is going to be a Jason Tatum, type superstar. I think Tatum's going to be the face of his team, and Porzingis is going to be the second guy. But as the market continues to trend, I can definitely see Porzingis hitting those numbers. Maybe not this year. This is more of a long-term hold. But if you really like that 1-2 punch of Luka and Porzingis like I do, then they could eventually be a dynasty. And last but not least on this list of what I've been buying, it's kind of boring, but I've been really into LeBron James base cards. I don't know when I got bit by this LeBron bug, but I just saw some opportunities where I just saw some cards that looked really sweet. Like I think it was his 2004, 2005 Bowman that really hit me. I'm like, man, that's a sick picture. Like, you don't get those pictures these days. And, he's just dunking the ball and he's aggressive. And whoever this Topps photographer was, Panini needs to steal him. And that was actually what sparked the whole Select podcast. Like, is Select going to be up next? Because I'm like, man, photography and imagery really matters when it comes to sports cards, especially being a photographer myself. I'm like, if I just see LeBron pushing the ball up the court with a Prizm background, like, that's boring. I want to see, LeBron in action. I don't know. I should get the name. I can't think of the name right now, but I'll leave it on my Instagram. But there's an account that, showcases the actual highlight of the card. So like if LeBron's dunking the ball and, whatever, that account will show you like the real life play of LeBron. It's one of my favorite Instagram accounts in the sports cards world. And I'm like, that matters. Like, imagery matters. Like, what LeBron is doing on his photograph matters. I don't care if it's Prizm or Optic or whatever the case may be. It can be Topps Bazooka. If the photo is sweet, I want that card. And yeah, I've been buying them. I was, whenever I can get like a $3 card for like free shipping, or if I'm buying a card, I'll go through like their eBay store and see if they have like a LeBron base that I can get in for like 50 cents. And I've been picking up a few of those left and right. I actually got a package in the mail right now. I think it's lost. It doesn't have any tracking updates since May 9th, so I'll cross my fingers for that one. But yeah, I've been really liking the Bowman. I picked up some of the Fleer Tradition ones. I've really been focusing on 2004, 2005. And before I did this podcast, I looked up the prices to see, if these are still some good plays. And I was really shocked to see how high the cards were. Like the Bowman's like $25 now. I paid like $2 for it. And when I paid $2 for it, I was like, should I be getting this? Like if the seller would have had 10 cards, I would have bought 5. Because I'm like, I don't know if this is a good buy or not, but I feel a certain kind of way about it. So yeah, I paid like $2 for mine, and now they're going like 25. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but it's crazy. But yeah, so the opportunity to buy like 2004, 2005 LeBron might be gone, but the opportunity to buy like first year Miami Heat cards might still be there. The opportunity to buy first year Laker cards might still be there, like his Revolution, his Status, his I think his what is it, Panini Threads. It might be a good one, like a Dazzle. A lot of folks are sleeping on those, especially the one with the jersey background. So, just kind of giving you guys some plays on that. I think that's going to bode well for the playoffs and LeBron's career kind of coming to an end. I don't think it's like a long-term thing. I don't think you should be keeping those for 20 years. Or maybe you should. I don't know. With this whole Jordan thing and how it's affected prices and stuff, I really don't know anymore when it comes to some of these cards. Maybe these LeBron cards are going to be iconic. I'm not sure. All I know is that right now, as investors, we're like Prizm. Optic. Select. And there's other plays. When you look at Jordan cards, it's like Skybox and Fleer and these hidden cards that were in an insert set, So I'm kind of looking into that for basketball. Like, this is totally random, nothing to do with my top 3, but I'll give it away. I don't care. I've been looking at older Kaboom cards. Like, these new cards of Kaboom are crazy. It's like $1,500 for a Zion and $2,000 and $4,000. Yet, like, Brandon Ingram's Kaboom is worth nothing, So I've been kind of looking at that. Again, just fundamentals. So when I get some information, I do the research and I figure it all out. I'll be letting everybody know. Everybody who's in my premium newsletter group, which if you haven't signed up for, you should. So, yeah. That's the plays for today, guys. Let me know what you think about this episode. If you have an episode in mind that you want to hear, that you just been like, I really need some information on this, shoot me a DM. I am looking to just get the next few months figured out. I want to do like a scheduled episode on Monday, and then on Wednesdays or Thursdays, I want to kind of come in with like this is what's happening in a hobby episode that's a little more current. So let me know what you guys want to hear. Let me know what you think about this one. Check all the links in the description. You guys can sign up for my Patreon or my premium newsletter group. There's memberships for both parties now. So check it out. Let's make some money. Let's have some fun. Happy investing.